Hello! Today I'm bringing my May wrap-up to you. I read 14 books in May. There wasn't any challenges going on for me. I didn't have anything extra happening. I just still have a lot of free time because this is quarantine and I've just been reading. I read so many chunky books in May. Like, this is insane. I have like the best setup ever today. So 14 books. A lot of them were like okay. I read some like 5 stars, some 4 stars, and one 3-star book. Oh, I forgot to put one in here. I read 15 books in May. Hang on. I was like, I forgot to put one in here, and I was thinking about it. I wouldn't have forgot to put something in here, and I totally did. I read 15 books in May. Here's my little bullet journal spread thing, so you can look at how pretty it is. I'm so proud of this. Like, honestly, this is my favorite page in this whole journal thing. We should get started on the books that I read. I started off May with A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. I read this in 2 days, just like I read the one before this one in 2 days, and it picks up off right after the disaster where Feyre has to pick up broken pieces and try to save the world in the meantime, and this is like the book that has the war in it, sorry. So the actual battle takes place in this, as well as a lot of strategic movements for the Fae. All the courts are going against the king, and I don't know why. When they were talking about Hybern all the time, I knew it was here on the map, but I always thought it was the mainland where the king lived. And I'm pretty sure he lives over here, and it took me 3 books to figure that out. But that was like my own fault that I didn't know where anybody was, and I looked at the map frequently while I was reading it, and I don't know, but this series has made itself up to my square, which is the only place that I put my favorite books in. So the fact that it replaced a book series that I've had, for 6 years as my favorite series, and like this one's up there now, that tells you a lot. So obviously I gave this 5 stars. The ending of this kind of finished up things beautifully and left it for like hundreds of years of future that they could have, and I loved everything about that. But I also would love to learn more about this world, and not just like the island, but like the mainland and stuff, and know what's out there. And I'm gonna reread this very soon, so don't be surprised if you see this series again, because it's gonna happen. Because I still have book hangover, and it's been an entire month since I read it, because I read it like the 2nd. But anyways, so that was the first one. I kind of started off on like a great note of like losing my mind a little bit, you know, which is okay with me. I lost my coffee. Did I finish my coffee? The next book I completed was Strange the Dreamer by Lonnie Taylor. I gave this one 4 stars. I had wrote a lot on my little sheet of paper to tell me about this, so let's get started. This story follows a boy named Laszlo Strange, who is growing up feeling out of place because he's an orphan living with monks who only wants to like have grand adventures, because like if I grew up living with monks, I would probably lose my mind, just like Laszlo did. Laszlo soon finds himself in a grand library where he becomes a librarian, and he can go on all the adventures he'd like through reading. But one thing in particular that catches his interest the most is the lost city of Weep. Now, Weep is not the actual name of the lost city, but the name of the city just disappeared one day and everybody forgot what it was. So now it's just been replaced with Weep, and that's what they call it. But they also believe that it is legend. Laszlo is the only person alive who believes that it still 100% exists, and he wants to learn everything he can about it, including its language, which he teaches to himself, and keeps many books that he writes on the city itself. But he is the only one who believes into it until an alchemist steals all his work, all of his books, and a caravan comes into town from the lost city looking for help. And this is Laszlo's only chance to see his dreams come true. Even though he's a nobody, he wants to go, and he will do anything he can to get there. Issue the lost city of Weep has had for the last 200 years has been mostly taken care of, and now everybody has chosen to help rid the city of a dark past, so they put their heads together and they try to solve the mystery. There's various twists in here along the way, and a girl named Sarai. There is lots of magic in here. There's an incredible twist, and even though this takes probably 80% of it to build the world and the characters and show you everybody that's in here, the ending was so worth it. So worth it. I can't even describe to you the ending of this. You just need to read it, and I have the next one, and it's happening. And also, this cover is beautiful. Shout out to my friend who scoured the internet to get me the copies that I liked better than the rest of them. To look into Lonnie Taylor's mind in these books is just a whole new level, because technically this is kind of like a spin-off from the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy, but it takes place in like a separate world where the angels have visited in the past, not their world, not the Chimera and Angel world, which is okay. Still like amazing. The next book I read was Angel Fall by Susan E. This was a reread for me. I honestly loved it more than I liked it the first time. This follows a girl named Penryn who lives in a world where angels have come down from heaven and decided to take over. The humans are being killed, they're being kidnapped, they're being left to rot. The angels don't really care about the human race at all. So this story starts off with Penryn and her sister and her mom attempting to flee the town and head south, but their escape is stopped when they witness an angel have their wings chopped off. Penryn attempts to save him, and in the process, one of the angels kidnaps her sister Paige. This is an issue because her sister Paige is in a wheelchair. She's paralyzed from the waist down and she can't walk. Also in the kerfuffle, her mother gets lost. Her mother is a special being all on her own, I'll say that. Honestly, I love her mother. She's a little creepy. Penryn forces the fallen angel then to help her find her sister Paige. In return, she is going to help him get his wings reattached. The first time I read this book, I did give it 3 stars because there is a scene in it that kind of frustrated me and made me angry, and then I was angry for the rest of the book because that scene had happened, and I learned to get over it this time. But the characters that I don't like are the freedom fighter characters. Not that I don't like Obi or the twins or any of that stuff, I just didn't like how they treated Penryn and Raffi. They were kind of assholes the entire time. But I'm going to continue rereading this series, and the fact that I did raise it from a 3-star to a 4-star is good enough for me. And I know what happens now, so like I'm very excited to watch it all unfold again. I did read quite a few chunky books this month, and I'm very proud of that, and this is the biggest one of all. This was actually my 50th book of the year, so I finished my reading goal pretty early on, not even halfway through the year, and it is It by Stephen King. This looks a little worse for wear because the dust jacket was off for such a long time. I started reading this 2 years ago and then restarted again recently because I got the audiobook and finished it off, and I gave it 4 stars. I don't have a whole lot to say about this, but I understand that some things were left out of the movie, and I understand why they were left out of the movies, and I greatly appreciate the movies for leaving some of the things out. Other things, this is such a detailed book, of course it is, it's huge, that you can't really fit all of it into a movie or a TV show, even if you wanted to, which I don't think I would want to. I also didn't really write anything down for a review. I don't really want to talk about it that much. I just wrote that this one was too weird. I don't hate it, I gave it 4 stars, so. I also like didn't make any notes while I was reading it. I just wrote the title at the top. That's how much, it was just a lot to take in. I just needed to soak it in. I don't know how else to describe it. The next book I completed was Harmless by Catherine Dell. This is a local author, and I have it signed from her to me specifically because my old boss gave it to me and I love it so much. I gave it 4 stars. It was great. Like, so good. I thought it would take me a bit to get into, but honestly, as soon as Nate showed up in the 2nd chapter, I was into it. But here, let's talk about it. Rachel has a spirit box that her grandmother gave her as a present to look after. And after her parents split and her mother moves her back to her hometown to live with her grandmother, Rachel tries to impress some of her new friends with the mysterious box. There's a bear, a crow, a deer, and a wendigo inside the box, and they all decide to make a wish on all of these animals. But as it says on here, be careful what you wish for. The mysterious animals can grant your wish, but the wendigo delivers a little bit more than Mason asked for. Rachel is forced to dive into the past to try to find out what her future will hold as she struggles to find a balance with her new reality. She wished to get what she deserved, and the white deer gives her many different paths to choose from, while her other friends welcome their wishes with open arms. I don't really know how to describe what unfolds in this book because there's so much weird magic that comes out of it, but I do love the wendigo. Like, I love learning about the wendigo and different aspects of the creature because it is a North American creature. I find it very interesting, and honestly can't complain. Though literally as soon as Nate showed up in chapter 2, I was like, we're reading this right now, it's happening, and it took me no time at all after that. The next book I read, I don't have a physical copy with me because I have already lent it out to somebody, but I gave it 4 stars, and it is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. This one, I literally wrote, this one is a little hard to describe. I liked the way he introduced it in the little letter before you read, like the 5th or the 10th anniversary edition that I have. The way he was talking about how he found America and how he wrote about how American gods would be was very interesting. There is some gods introduced to the main character Shadow that are very strange, and the way that he's adapted several cultures and their gods into the way that he thinks they would turn out in America was very interesting to me. I'm like, Neil Gaiman is like a weird guy, I've discovered after reading a couple of his books, and honestly I'm kind of into it. I'm gonna read a bunch more of his stuff. I did request a lot more of his books on Libby as soon as I finished American Gods, because I was like, you know what, I could get into this. I can get into this weird writing in mind. It's happening. The next book that I finished, I gave 4 stars, and it is A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. This, I wish I had like the hardcover of like the people in the front, because I like that cover much more, but the first 2 I have in the old editions before they changed it. However, this one, I don't know where to start. This one ended right where An Ember in the Ashes left off. Elias and Laia are on the run from the chaos that they caused, but it starts off like really bad for them thanks to the Commandant and her terrible plans that she has. She's kind of a dick. But I do like following Helene in here. That was really fun. She's stuck in her job with a terrible task, and she doesn't want to be there, but she sticks to what she has to do for her family to survive, for her to survive, for her to get what she deserves. Not necessarily, I guess. I just like following her in this. She's trying so hard to please everybody, to make sure that everybody is safe. So I applaud her for that. I also wrote on here when I started reading it that I have a soft spot for Kian, and then I put a little dash and it says, not after a bit. So if you know, you know. And I do love Izzy. I love Izzy so much. This love square that's in here is a bit weird for a little bit until it's a love triangle again. I do find it interesting that it is 2 girls and a boy. Very much appreciate that. It's a breath of fresh air that there's not 2 dudes when it's a love triangle. I don't know how to like talk about it without like giving away anything, but I did enjoy that this expanded so much more on the world, and like it made the map bigger. Like the map is so much bigger now, and it just explored so much of the cultures and the tribes. You got to learn more about them, and I love the history behind it. I love everything about it, and I'm here for it. Like the next one gives me, come on, let's go. The next book I gave 5 stars. This was my first 5-star after A Court of Winks and Ruin. It was also like very I can't say the word. It was very like for the most of this month until I got to The Blood of Olympus by Rick Riordan, and I finished the Heroes of Olympus series. I can die happy now. That's literally what I wrote down after I finished reading it. I know that after this you're supposed to read The Trials of Apollo, but I haven't really had a desire to read The Trials of Apollo. I'm perfectly happy with it ending here for me, but we all know that's probably going to change, and I'm going to read The Trials of Apollo. I might not purchase them, but I'll listen to the audiobook on Libby for free. Is that so bad? The next book I read, I gave 4 stars, and it is Two Dark Reigns by Kendar Blake. This is the 3rd book in the 3 Dark Crowns series. I am almost done. I'm very excited to see how it's going to end. So excited. We learn a lot more about the war gift in this book. We expand on the outside world, and we learn a lot more of the history of Fenburn and its queens. Specifically, the last blue queen that they had. And a blue queen is a queen that was the 4th born. Instead of having triplets, they have a quad. There's 4 of them. I don't quadruplets? That doesn't make any sense to me. But instead of having 3 babies, she has 4, and the 4th one born is automatically given the queen title, and the other 3 are disposed of. And they see Arsinoe gets to experience dreams where she meets the blue queen and discover that there's something terrible going on in Fenburn, and they need to save Fenburn. The island is not doing so well anymore. Meanwhile, Jules and a lot of the other people on the island have decided that the queen line needs to end and needs to change. And I think that's all that I should tell you, because if I talk any more about this book, I'm going to spoil it because there's 2 books before them, so you need to read those. But If there were 1,000 history books on Fenburn and all of its queens and all of the sisters and everything that took them to get to the top, I would read every single one of them because this interests me so much. I love it. I can't. I don't know what I'm gonna do when it's over. I'm gonna have a really bad book hangover when it's over. Good luck to me. The next book I read, I gave 5 stars to. I think I gave 5 stars. I gave 5 stars. It is Aragon by Christopher Paolini. I'm just butchering words today. I can't think at all. I'm very sorry. If you've seen the movie and not read the book, you have not experienced this. But what I did not know when I started reading this is that he wrote this when he was 16. This is very impressive for a 16-year-old. Not to mention I love dragons and fantasy. I literally write about dragons. That's like the only thing that I really care about. If my story has a dragon in it, you know it's good. If it doesn't have a dragon in it, might as well stop. I'm gonna read more. Because this is right up my alley. This is exactly what I want in life. And I will read, I have the next one, so we're fine. We're gonna go there. I like that my talking about books just drops off and I'm like, I just love it. Yeah, this one's been out for a long time. 2003. I'm very late to the party. I'm very sorry. The next book I read was very fun for me, and it is a lot smaller than it looks because this is a bind up of the entire series. And it is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. I read the first one, just the first one. I gave it 5 stars because I love The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The movie, dolphins singing, thanks so long and thanks for all the fish. That's a bop right there. Don't panic. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is here to tell you how to live among the stars. This follows our main character. What is his name? I don't remember. This follows Arthur Dent, who wakes up to a hangover, to his house about to be torn down to build a freeway. And he's very upset about that. Until his friend, I don't remember his name, who's been stuck on Earth for 15 years, tell him that the Earth is about to be destroyed. And he's like, I don't care about the Earth being destroyed, I care about my house being torn down. And then they get picked up by the aliens who are destroying the Earth to make a galaxy freeway. It's a very small scale, big scale, you know? And kind of ironic, but really funny. As you find out later on, the most knowledgeable and most intelligent animals on the planet are not the humans. Humans are third, behind mice and dolphins. It's so weird that it's great. The movie is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I love everything about it. I love that the president of the galaxy has 2 faces. I love that he just picked up this human girl and called himself Phil for a little bit. And I love that Arthur is just losing his mind. I also love the spaceship that they end up on. The doors sigh because they're so happy to open and close for you. They're just so excited. And they have a really, really depressed robot to help them out. And he's probably my favorite. So if you want to read something weird that involves the galaxy, it says a trilogy of 5. So there's 5 books, but they're all very short. The first book ended on page 153, so it's not long at all. It's just very fun and exciting, and I'm very excited to continue. Also, the narrator for the audiobook, I'm pretty sure is the same guy who narrated the movie because he sounds exactly the same. And I very much appreciated that. The next book that I read, I don't have a lot to say for myself, but I read Twilight. I don't really want to talk about this because I will be talking about it I'm doing a reread book of books that I would like to reread, and this was in there. And I have sticky notes that I'm going to talk about in that video, so look out for that eventually. But I rated it 3 stars. It would have been 2 stars, but for the nostalgia, I was like, I can't rate it any lower. I can't rate it 2 stars, I have to rate it 3. And my friends very much enjoyed when I got to a point where I got a sticky note. I would send out my thoughts on the sticky note to my friends so that I would be able to talk about it to you when I film my rereading. Onto a happier note, I reread Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. I wanted to read the illustrated copy, and honestly it was totally worth it. Pictures and the artwork, and this is my 3rd time reading this book, so you know that I love it. Very pleased. The next book that I read, I gave 5 stars. I would have given it more because it was everything that I wanted, and it is Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. Sorry. Oh my gosh. So I only wrote a little bit of notes when I started reading this, but we got welcomed right into action, dead center, the middle of a pirate fight. The princess appears cunning, caring, and amazing right off the start. She's the perfect pirate, the perfect woman. If I could be her, that would be ideal for me. Can I please become this lady, or can I at least be on her pirate crew? Like, because her pirate crew is majority females. There's like 2 dudes in her pirate crew. Oh my gosh. But as we find out soon, she wants to be kidnapped because she is kidnapped, and then she wants to be kidnapped because she's trying to find something on the boat. And she spends the majority of the boat looking for the thing. Her life gets turned around as she's kidnapped and re-kidnapped again. Because not only is she daughter of the Pirate King, but she also has some other secrets up her sleeve, and that make her amazing. I cannot describe to you how much I love this woman, and I also love pirate books. Please give me more pirate books. I need more pirate books in my life. Satisfying. I read this in like 3 hours, which is saying something because the audiobook is like 8 or 9 hours, and I didn't listen to the audiobook. Now I can listen to it. I'm very excited to get to the next one. And the last book that I read for the month of May, I do not have a physical copy. I gave 3 stars, and it is The Magician by Michael Scott. This is a continuation after The Alchemist, and I did say I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue on in the series, and I had a friend tell me that she did continue and it does get better, and I'm still not so sure since I gave it like 3 stars. I'm not 100% sold on the story. I will continue it because she said it gets better, so I'm hoping it does get better. It follows the twins who are being trained by Nicholas Flamel, who is the immortal alchemist, and the magician here is the evil guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but these are the twins of legend that they've all heard about that are supposed to either save the world or destroy it. They're still being welcomed into this world and being activated. Their magic is being activated. There's just so many myths and legends in here. They like included Joan of Arc or whatever. There's so much stuffed into one book. I don't know how to process it. It's a lot for my mind because they literally put every myth and legend they possibly could into here and put it into a story. I don't know. As a kid, probably would have loved it, but now that I'm an adult, I don't know. It's just a lot to take in. But we'll continue on and see what happens. So those are the 15 books that I read in May. Very pleased. I finished off a lot of books that I had started reading a long time ago. I reread some books, which was something I've been wanting to do for a really long time. I'm very happy with myself. We got somewhere. We went on adventures. We had a lot of fun. Didn't really read any terrible books. Nothing below 3 stars. Not mad. Can't complain. We're going to continue on with June. We're going to stay strong. And we're going to have a good time. I still haven't done my June thing yet. What kind of books did you guys read in May? Did you have a good time? Did you have a terrible time with your reads? Let me know what you enjoyed, what you didn't. I love to hear everybody's opinions and stuff. And we're gonna continue on with this quarantine, reading really strong. I love that everybody is posting book hauls because everybody is so bored. They're just buying more books to read right now. It's my favorite part about booktube right now. We've been having so much fun. Let's see how many books I can read in June. And I'll see you all in the next video. As always, my links are all in the description if you would like to follow me on anything or see what I'm up to. I post frequently, pretty much every day. We'll see you next time. Bye!